Welcome to our Grow My Business webinar. If it's your first time, it's great to have you here. And if you have been joining us bi-weekly, it's great to see you again. My name is Seun Oguntonade, and I'm a content creator at Flutterwave. So I will be the host for this webinar, and we'll be starting shortly. So today we have Michelle Ijomah. She's a director of product at Momspring, which is a health tech startup that is on a mission to transform maternal and neonatal health in Africa. And she's here to positively inspire, impact, and invest in lives. So today she'll be sharing tips on how you can develop a unique selling proposition for your business. So I'm just going to lay down some few house rules. So we're going to have her session first. Michelle will be starting first. And then after that, we'll be having my colleague Jolade. She'll be sharing what Flutterwave has for business owners currently. And also this webinar is recorded. So if you need to go back and listen to this, it'll be recorded, and it is recorded and it will be sent to your email during the course of the week. And if you don't get that email, you can always check our YouTube channel. It'll be live on our YouTube channel. So you can always go there and check it out. So now we'll be having Michelle talk on how to develop a unique selling proposition for your business today. Hi, Michelle, are you there?
My name is Michelle Ijomah, and I'm the product director, product lead for Momspring. Like Sean mentioned earlier, we are a health tech startup, and we are focused on changing the narrative around neonatal and maternal health and disseminating the maternal and neonatal mortality in Africa, starting with Nigeria. So a little background about me. I'm director of product at Momspring and our flagship company, Agnes, as well. And what's my day-to-day like? I develop the products that you see that go out. I'm usually at the helm of affairs for products. So everything that entails the product that you see that comes out, whatever is churned out from the company has to pass through me. So of course, we would have to discuss things like your unique selling points, your marketing, your product, description, what's your product development, and all the works. I'm extremely excited to be here today to talk to everyone today. I'd like to say a big thank you to Flutterwave for this opportunity to speak, and I will jump right into it. Let me just share my screen. A few seconds, please start broadcast. Defining your USP, or the steps you take to defining your USP. So today I'm going to cover what your USP is, knowing and understanding your business, steps you would take to develop your USP, mistakes made when developing a USP, and then examples of USPs from companies. So the first question you'd ask is, what is a USP? It's a common acronym, but a USP refers to your unique selling proposition. So it is what makes your business or your product stand out to your competition, stand out to your customers. What would make me see two brands of a particular product on a shelf and pick one over the other one? And so first, I'm going to dive into knowing your business, because before you can get into what makes your business unique, you have to actually know your business. And in the process of getting to know your business, there are certain questions you need to ask yourself. First one is, what problem is your business solving? So in trying to understand your problem, I've noticed there's a lot of people, when you start a business, you're not necessarily looking at the problem it's solving to the users, you're looking at what it's doing for you. So I've heard a lot of statements like, and I know we all make these statements, I want to start this business. Why? I don't want to be broke. That's what almost everybody says. I don't want to be broke. So I want to start this business because I don't want to be broke. But then I'm on the defensive. Yes, it's easier for your financial situation to trigger you into starting something. However, what's going to keep you doing that thing when the money comes or when it doesn't go as planned? Because everyone here who runs a business knows that what you planned in January is probably not what you're doing now in September. If you want to use 2020 as a prime example, what we started, everybody, how we started 2020 in January, by March, it was like, things are not really looking how I thought they were going to look. So you have to know what problem your business wants to solve, right? So you go into breaking down the issues that happen in the field that you're in. And then from breaking down those issues, you move to making your problem a tangible problem. So it's not a thing of, oh, there aren't that many blinds in the market. Okay, there are that many blinds in the market. What's going to happen? You know, what is causing that issue? So you find all the different issues, and then you find what the problem is that's causing those issues. And then you begin to, it's like starting with a wide funnel, and you're beginning to narrow the funnel down before you now get what problem that your business wants to solve. Now, we talk about what your storyline is. So here I said your business has to tell a captivating story. It helps define who you are and will shape the values and form the core of your business. Now, the storyline, if you've ever had to pitch for your business, you will know that when you're pitching, you start with your problem, then you start with what the problem, what's happened after the problem, and then you get to a solution. Now, that trajectory, that line that you're following is your storyline. It has to be captivating. It has to hold me. It has to make me want to say, okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. So you find that a lot of businesses, when they're doing their marketing ads and things, they come and tell you how, okay, this particular thing, this happened, that's why we did this, right? And I remember, I think Flutterwave did a prime example of this is sometime last year when Flutterwave did a Keep the Lights On campaign, right? There was something that happened. What happened? That was the problem. It triggered that storyline. So that them telling you about doing that was them carrying you along the journey so you understand, okay, this happened, that's why this is happening. And then that them telling you about it is them bringing you on the journey with them. It's very sweet when you grow with a company and you feel like you are part of the company. You're not there, you don't work there, you're not employed by anybody, you probably don't even know anybody there. But it's like, okay, you stand, you boast. Yes, I know them. They did this, they did that. I think we're asking, but you work there. But that's what happens when that's when you know you're doing a good job as a company. When people can stand and talk about your company and talk about the products and services that you're delivering, and they become what's the word? They become evangelists for you, right? Without you even have to do anything, without you having to do anything, or without you even being there, even asking them to do it, right? So you knowing your business and you being able to tell your business's story is what another way you can stand out from your competition. And then that now brings me to developing a USP. So now a USP is usually a one sentence or like a tagline, right? That defines, that captivates what your business is, that tells people who you are without having to like go into a long 5 minute speech thereabouts. It's usually, people say it's a tagline, but I feel like sometimes it might be different from your tagline. It doesn't, it can change. It shouldn't change often, to be honest. It shouldn't change often, but it can change over time because as we human beings evolve and change, so should your businesses also evolve into starting from a kid, you become a toddler, then you become an adolescent, you become a teenager, then of course you're growing. So as you as an individual are growing, so is your business. And from there, we now say, okay, what are the steps in developing a USP? So you have to first understand your audience, understand your target market. Who are you selling to? What do they like? What will make you stand out to them, right? What are their needs? What are their problems, their worries? You can't develop your USP without talking to your users, without having conversations with them and understand what they need, what their problems are, what their day-to-day in life is, right? And what because doing that is what helps you know where you can come in their lives, where you can come in, where your solution can come in and make a change for them. Now, what is your competitive advantage? I usually don't advise people that companies or individuals look at what exactly the competition is doing to define their USP, because your USP is between what you do, what your business does well, and what your users want. So it's between you and your users, it's a direct relationship. However, you can't unless you're like a what's the word, you're new in the market, right? Or you're the first in that particular field, which is usually very, very difficult, but not impossible. Unless you're the first person in that field, right, to do that particular thing, then of course you know that you're setting the pace. You're the one who's opening the doors and things like that. So you don't really have someone else's like study to go off on. You don't have someone else's ideas to go off on, or like market research and things like that to go off on. You're literally creating things by yourself. Unless you're in that particular situation, you're going to have to dig deep into what your competitors are doing. So what's your competitive advantage? What makes you stand out from your competitors? Um, what needs are they meeting? Not necessarily what they're doing well or what they're not doing well. It's just what are they actually doing? From you understanding what they're doing and knowing what needs that they're meeting, you can now decide on what angle you want to come in from, right? So, example, I want to enter a very common space that we've seen recently is skincare. I want to enter into the skincare market. I want to start making products for people's skin. However, if you think of skincare, you have baby skincare, you have elderly adult skincare for people who are aging. You have people who are in their, mid, the millennials, Gen Z, their mid 20s, early teens, sorry, late teens, mid 20s, thereabouts, early 20s, mid 20s, up until like they're maybe 30, thereabouts. Those people aren't exactly completely focused on what's the word? They're not exactly completely focused on wrinkles and things like that, right? Their main focus is I just want my skin to look healthy. So you have that space of people. Now, if you want to enter the skincare line, you have to pick what your target audience is. So are you going to target those who are kids? Are you going to target those who are teens? Are you targeting those who are, just trying to figure out life from the 20s, the late teens to the 20s to possibly the 30s? Are you targeting the elders, right? And then you know, okay, from the people I'm targeting, right, what companies are focused on them? You now say, okay, this company just generally makes skincare products. This other company makes skincare products that are for children. Okay, maybe I don't want to go into the children angle. Okay, do I want to go into the young adult angle? And then if you decide, okay, yeah, I want to go into the young adults angle, then you have to go and then research on businesses that are doing the same thing as you, right? Who are focused in that community or in that community. What are the users in that community or in that category? What are they using? So when you decide, okay, these are what you have to like. I like lists. So you have to write down a list. This is what they're using. This is what they said they like. This is what they don't like about what they're using. Yada yada yada. Then that list now shows you all the different gaps. So each point should show you where a gap is. Now that gap is where you now decide, okay, I want to come in and solve this particular problem, right? I want to come in and solve this. Maybe one person says they like this particular product, but it's not accessible. Okay, what do you like about the product? You find out. You point it down. You note it down. Another person says, oh, I like it, but it's a bit too pricey. What do you like about it? It's pricey. Put it down. So now you begin to develop one by one what's going to help you as a person, as a company, right, stand out in that particular field that you've chosen to operate in. Now, when you've done that, you now monitor industry trends. So you know, okay, I'm trying to do products that have coconut oil, right? When is coconut in season? How long does it take a coconut tree to grow? How long does it do this? How long does that happen? What are the trends that are going to what's happening in the industry, right? What needs aren't being met? Now, look at when you solve a problem, I always insist that you solve with longevity in mind. So you're not solving a problem just to ensure that you as an individual can eat food today, right? You're solving so that, yeah, it might take me a bit of time. And it's a difficult thing to do. I'm not gonna lie, it's a difficult thing to do, to think ahead and not just do things for the now. But it's very necessary if you're focused on building a company that's supposed to live after you. So you're thinking, okay, I'm doing this now. I'm using these plastic bottles, but I realized that in the next 5 years, we're all trying to get rid of plastics. So what's my plan? Do I plan to use these plastics? Do I have a recycle plan? Do I have, you have to create plans, monitor trends very close. The internet is there, and there's nothing that we need, to be honest, that is not on the internet. So you have to do a lot of extensive research, a very, very, very deep, extensive research onto things that are happening around you, things that are happening in the economy, things that are happening in the environment, all sorts. You know, there's global warming notice, there's this, that, there's that, that. Everything is all there. So you have to pay close attention to the field that you're operating in to understand. Because you now defining your USP or trying to refine your USP or state what your USP is now tells you, okay, for me, I want to use this particular product, and I'm using this product because of this particular reason, right? And so because I've chosen to use this particular product for a reason, then that reason I have chosen to use the product should carry me through, right? So you want your USP, you have to make, so basically let me just give you down the steps of creating a USP. I've talked about understanding your audience. I've talked about your competitive advantage, monitoring trends in the industry. You scan your trend, the things that are happening against your competitors, what's happening in your particular industry, what are your competitors doing about things that's happening in your industry, right? And you're understanding that you kind of find a blend and you find where to position yourself. And it's a thing of positioning yourself, understand that there isn't a static way that you can do things. Things are very, very, very dynamic. The world is very, very dynamic. And you have to be the kind of person who can think very fast on your feet. So it's a thing of, okay, we started the year like this, and this is what we were doing. But at some point down the line, we noticed that this thing that we're doing wasn't really working. Okay, did you take steps into evolving yourself and trying to make something different out of your business? Did you say, okay, I was selling brooms today, the brooms that you bend down to use and sweep. However, I've noticed that in trying to maybe export it to Rwanda, Rwanda doesn't use some particular products that's used to make the brooms, they don't use it. Okay, so how are you going to evolve? Are you going to switch to maybe the ones that have the bristles that you can just brush and you stand and brush? What are you going to do? Are you going to create vacuums that maybe have the same broom, what's it called, fibers, right? Or similar fibers, basically, that can also be effective. What are you even actually using in this Rwanda that I want to enter? Do you get? Because what you say you are is what's going to stick into people's heads, and that's your USP. What am I? What am I? What do I say to people I am? Your USP also affects those within the company. So yes, it's a tagline or it's whatever it is that you're going to say for your competitors. However, you have to also understand that it's what is also going to ginger those inside your office to work. So if you're someone who has a company who has a couple of staff, you have 2 people, you have 3 people, maybe you have 10, maybe you have 20, maybe you have gotten to the level where you have 100 people in your office, right? Your USP pushes your values. Your USP is not your core values. It's not the core values that you run with as an organization, right? But it drives those values. It drives people to understand that, okay, yes, this is what we're doing, right? This is who we say we are. So when they go outside and somebody says, you're working in that company, what do people even do? You see that your person will stand, they will carry their shoulders up, like, yes, this is what we do, this is who we are. And they will go further to educate the person on who you are and what the person does. So the same way you want your external people to be ambassadors for your business, your internal people need to be ambassadors for your business. So it's very important that your USP is clear. Now, I said it already, your USP is usually one sentence. It's an assertive and definitive sentence. It's a defensible sentence, right? That says, okay, yes, this is who we are, this is what we do. And I'm going to look at you and be like, okay, yes. Sometimes I find that some companies, their USP maybe doesn't make sense to me, but then I've come to realize that I'm not exactly the target audience for certain people. So those who I know I resonate with deeply, those businesses, those companies I resonate with deeply, I find that when they tell me what their USP is or what is unique to them, right? I'm like, yeah, I get it. I can see that, right? I understand where you're coming from. I get your point, and I'm not mistaken. Um, I'm not mistaken what I think you are for what someone else is. So your unique selling proposition. Now, mistakes people make when defining their unique selling proposition. Number one, you feel like because you say, oh, we're a unique XYZ. Your unique selling proposition cannot necessarily be that you are unique. You can be the first in a field, you can be the first person to do a particular thing, you can be the first person to have said a particular thing, or to open the doors for something. But your unique selling point cannot be that you are unique. Why? If that's the case, I'm unique. If that's the case, Jolade here is unique. Sheon is unique, right? We're all unique. So your proposition is not necessarily, it's a, okay, you're unique, no problem. What makes you unique? Do you get? That's what you keep using to go down to define to frame your sentence, to talk about your business, to whatever. What makes you unique? So it's not something like, oh, we're a unique business, we do this is this. No. Your unique business, you make leather, right? What about your leather? Our leather is not sourced from animals. Maybe some people have, excuse me, this thing against products that are sourced from animals, like fur and things like that. Oh, we're organic, or we don't do this, we don't do that, right? So it's okay, we're the first leather company that does XYZ that doesn't use XYZ, right? It could be shorter. Or you're a fur company, you make fur. We're a fur company, we're the ones that do this, that don't do this, right? And you find that the thing that makes you unique, it might not sell to every single person, right? Bear in mind that your focus is your target audience. It's not my target audience that is selling pillows. If you're selling leather, me, I'm selling pillow, or I'm selling slippers, or I'm selling phones, right? We have a different target audience. So you need to focus on what your target audience is. Now, understanding your field and the markets that you operate in and the field that you work in is also very important. Like I said earlier, you start from a general family of, okay, yes, everybody that's making phones, this is where we are, right? We're all in this one space. However, you pick your own phone. What's different about your phone, right? Break it down, break out the things that you different from your phone, make a list of it. Break down the things that are your top competitor. Now, you can never not have competition. Even if it's not direct, you have competition. You always have competition. So it's always important, even if you're the first person in that field to do that to create that groundbreaking technology, you have competition, right? It might not be direct, it might be direct because your competition will also, they'll be the ones who will ask you, okay, why should I use this product instead of this? So when you're trying to sell to your target audience, right? Whatever your target audience was using or managing, say, before you came into the picture, is your competition. Whatever they would compare you to, even if you don't do the same thing as them, is your competition. So if I come into the room today and maybe I usually like to sit on a bin bag and someone likes to sit on the table, and I tell the person, come and use the table instead of sitting on the bin bag, right? That bin bag is the table's competition. They're two different things. On a table, you can sit upright, you can structure yourself, you can take notes, you can do whatever. On a bin bag, you're more, relaxed and you're lazing about and stuff like that. But guess what? That bin bag is the table's competition. The table is the bin bag's competition. Why? Because there are alternatives for the user. So me that either I choose to sit on the table or I choose to sit on the bin bag, I have those options, right? So the both of them are competition, even though they won't feel like, oh, I'm competition. The bin bag will probably feel like, oh, my competition is another type of bin bag that is maybe not as soft or as plush as me. And the table will say, okay, I'm a rectangular table. My competition is the square table. My competition is the circular tables, right? Not realizing that your competition is every alternative that somebody will use or that somebody will look at to you, as opposed to using you. So another mistake people make in defining your USP is not even having a USP, just coming into the market and saying, okay, yes, I want to do this. Okay, what's going to make you stand out? A unique selling proposition is what's going to make you stand out and what's going to keep you going through whatever phase as a business you might face, you might encounter. Do you get? My mom calls me and Apple lover, not necessarily because I want to belong to certain caste, but I love how they take time to market stuff. What's Apple's USP? They provide a lifestyle with their products. That's literally what their USP is. They provide a lifestyle with their products. Now, if you think of that USP and you think of what all the products that they've created, you can actually see it. There's a synergy across if you have multiple Apple devices, there's a synergy. They've worked hard in ensuring that there's a synergy across all devices. So if you're using an Apple Watch today and you have a MacBook, they can talk to each other. You have AirPods, you have an iPad, you have an iPhone, whatever it is. Your devices can literally talk to each other in a seamless way. They didn't start off that way. So maybe when they first started, and that was their USP, there was a particular thing that they were doing that answered the USP's question. It has to be broad, but not too broad. So when they first started, whatever it was answering the questions that they had, right, that the users had. And now you move on to today. They've evolved so much in a couple of years, right? Now, in that evolve, you can see that the USP that they said that they had 10 years ago, it will still be the same USP, regardless of the fact that, things have come in, things have gone out, they've done this, the industry is doing this, global warming is doing this, the environment is doing that, fossil fuel, this, that. Regardless of all of that, your USP is still valid. Why? Because when you're creating products, when you're creating solutions, when you're creating services, you're creating it and everybody has the USP as like the big picture. So you have your values, you have your questions that you might want to ask, you have all of that stated on your board, right? And you have your USP. So whatever you're creating, whatever products you create, have to answer that question. When we're doing product strategies in my office, I'll tell you guys for free. One of the things I always tell them is it has to be able to impact, it has to be able to educate, and it has to be able to continue. So when you're creating a product, what impact is that product going to have on everybody who's using it? So if your consumer is not your customer, because you might have a situation where your consumer is not your customer, right? So if your consumer is not your customer, you still need to factor in all of them. How does it affect your consumer? How does it affect your customer? How does it affect you as a business? The three of you are involved in that mix. So you say, okay, this is how it affects my customer. This is how it affects my consumer. This is how it affects me. Is everybody satisfied? If everybody's not satisfied, you need to go back to the drawing board. There are times where you can factor in. So the level of satisfaction is not the same one. If you're saying in 100%, maybe you will be satisfied 20%, and then someone else will be satisfied, consumer is satisfied maybe 50%, and then the other person, 30%, right? It might not be equal, but everybody has to be satisfied. Now you say, okay, in terms of impact, everyone is satisfied. Then you move into empowering, or you move on to continuing, right? How can this product continue? How can this service or whatever continue after us? So if we decide that, okay, you know what, we've developed this thing, we've given it a bit of a structure, and we're going to leave it and maybe delve deep into another product, right? How is it going to continue? Because when you start to develop something, there's a time where you're putting all your energy into it. At some point, you say, okay, if I'm putting all this energy, I'm moving on to another product because I've put all the energy, I've structured the business, and I can leave it to run on its own, and I'm going to into another venture, right? So into another part of the business. Now you say to yourself, okay, is this thing going to continue? Now, continue means, is it continuing for you as a business? And of course, when you say for you as a business, you're thinking of not just you as an employee, not just you as a company owner, but also your employees. So you're thinking of, when you think of you as a business, you think of your internal stakeholders, then you think of your customers, and you think of your consumers. So it has to satisfy everybody, right? Now, when you go into the drawing board, and you're thinking of all the ways you can satisfy everyone, I tell my guys, you have to, if it doesn't cross out all these options, we're going to go back to drawing board. We've not solved the problem yet. So this is the problem. This is what's happening. Okay. And we say, okay, this thing must be innovative, right? It must have impact. It must continue. It must educate. Is it educating? Who is it educating? How is it helping? And of course, everybody wants to turn a profit. Your consumers want to be able to, yes, they're spending money on your product, but the value that they're getting from the product, right, will balance the money out. So the value has to be higher than what they're spending. So you can't charge someone 100K for something, and the value you're giving the person is value worth like 5K, 2K, 1K. It's not balancing. That person will not last. That's if the person even comes on board, right? So your process for how you work, how you tell your story, whatever it is that you decide to do as a business, whatever it is that you decide to embark on as a business, that process that you decide to go through or pass through or walk through, right, is everything that would help shape or should be influenced by your USP. So when you want to define your USP, it's not a day's job, right? It will take you a bit of time to think it through, to talk to your users, to see what they want to do. It's almost like going back to the drawing board of understanding your business. That's why I talked about knowing your business first, because by the time you've gone back to drawing board to break down your business, understand your business from every facet, every corner, every hook, every cranny, then you are going to what is making that business unique. So we have a lot of users. Why do we have a lot of users? What do people see in us? Do you get? You need to talk to them. Find out what they see in you. Find out what makes you stand out. Why they will not pick Johnson and Johnson instead of Chukuma and Sons. Do you get? Why are they going to pick you instead of the other person? Do you get? From there, you now begin to, okay, we are unique because of this. So, okay, this unique selling proposition, our unique selling proposition is this. Now, when you've defined what that is, it should be like a mantra across your office, across your meetings, it should ring in everybody's ears. What are your values? So your values, not necessarily really your mission, but maybe your mission, your vision, your values. But for me, I hold value. When you're talking to your guys internally, I hold values the most important. What are your values? Your value shapes your what's it called? Your value shapes your hiring process. Your value shapes your um not analysis. When you're reviewing performance reviews, your value shapes your hiring process, shapes your performance reviews, shapes the products that you put out, shapes deciding what your USP is, shapes your profits arrangement, whatever. When you're able, if you even have legal issues, right? When you're in court, your values shapes how you react to court, how you react to situations in court. It affects every single thing that your business has to do. It cuts across everything that your business has to do. And you cannot define your USP, your unique selling proposition, without understanding who you are. If you think about it as an individual, what makes me stand out? Why will somebody see me in a room and walk up to me, right? It is okay, this particular thing about me is what makes people see me, right? However, the underlying reason why they are going to see me is what? My values. So what I stand for when I come out to speak to people, this is what they see, this is what they hear, right? That is what is going to keep carrying me on. So when I hear, okay, yeah, we like you because you did, and then I've spoken to like 6 people and they've all told me the same thing, what's going to happen? I'm going to note it down. They like me because I do this. So guess what? That thing that they like about me, it won't change. I will ensure that it doesn't change because that's my unique selling proposition. So it's like, oh, she's relentless. She doesn't give up. She doesn't do that. They didn't say she's relentless in work or at home or when she goes to the market and she's trying to price food stuff or whatever. They didn't say she's relentless there. What they said is she's relentless. So it means that relentless spirit, that relentless vibe has to cut across every single thing that I'm doing, right? It has to cut across every aspect of my life, everything. Now, my last slide is our flagship company from Momspring, which is Agnes from Momspring. And our USP is that we're the world's first AI-powered multilingual midwife. And when we talked about this and we defined what it was, I was like, okay. Now we've had different things, we've been dancing around different things, we've dancing around different ideas. And we've spoken to different people as well and had said, okay, what makes us unique? What makes us this? Even when we're talking to our customers and we're talking to people that we want to work with, the question is always, okay, what makes you stand out? You know, what makes you this? And so you pick all the requests that people might be having for your business, for your idea, and decide, okay, what's going to make us stand out? And so for us, we realized, wait, in doing all the research that we're trying to do, in finishing everything we need to finish, we're the only ones who are doing this particular thing, or we're the first people who are doing this. We're not going to change that idea, right? We're not going to, we might evolve into different things, right? We might have different products who have their own USPs, who have their own things that make them stand out, right? But for us, this is what makes us stand out. And so when you're defining your USP, it should focus on things. We call it the four P's of marketing, right? Your product characteristics, your price structure, your promotional strategy, or your placement strategy. So it should cut across one or all of those four. So what about your product? What characteristics of your product are you going to use? What price are you going to talk about your price structure? The most affordable something, right? Or your promotional strategy, we use this, we don't use that. Or what? How you place, where you place, how you place, who you talk to. Those are the things that you want to use to, define who you are as a business, define what your USP might be, right? What makes you stand out? What will carry you on? Yeah, I think I've cut across. Thank you very much. I think I've cut across everything. And I'll just say in conclusion, it's not a one-time thing. Understanding your business, defining what your structure might be, talking about your USP, knowing your USP is not a one-day job. It's not a job that you just, decide today I want to do this and I'm going to think about how long research will take you. Take out time, decide on how you're going to define what time is going to take you to define your USP, and then just keep at it. You have different sense. You can come up with a book. You can come up with a large book, right, of everything. Like, as in, maybe you write like 50 down, and you'll be crossing out. Okay, no, this one doesn't really work. Maybe that one doesn't really work. You will be writing. You will write for a while, but best believe that at the end you're going to find it. And the moment you find it, it's like a light bulb that goes off in your head. It's like, yes, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. And you continue, like, once you decide on what it is, you find that everything around you just kind of seems to align. Like, you just have a balance, right? And everything just seems to now all of a sudden be working. It won't be perfect because, of course, nothing is perfect in the land of creating a business, but you realize that it just, things now begin to make sense. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This was a very insightful presentation. I think people are liking it. So hi everyone, my name is Sean Ogutonade and I am moderating this webinar. If you joined a bit late, don't fret. This webinar is being recorded, so it will be sent to you so far as you registered to join this. It will be sent to you via email, and if you don't get that email, you can always check our YouTube channel. It's called Flutterwave, and we have even our previous webinars where you can just get resources for your business, and that can help you. So this week it will be live on our YouTube channel, and also we'll send you an email this week. So now, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the Q&A section. Please don't drop your questions in the comment section because it could get lost there. So if you have any questions for Michelle, we'll be taking that at the end of the webinar. We still have one more presentation. So you can just drop it there so we can go over it at the end of the day. Hi, Jola, are you there? So Jola Day will be sharing what Flutterwave has for business owners.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jola Day. You're welcome. I'm the product manager for the Flutterwave store. And today I just to show you what that's all about and how you can use it to grow your business. I'll be sharing my screen in 1 second. First things first, what is the Flutterwave store? Honestly, it's a super straightforward e-commerce solution that you can use to get your goods online in a matter of minutes. You don't have to have coding expertise. You don't have to be a tech guru. You simply need to have the and be online, and voila. So in terms of how we came across the Flutterwave store, came about the Flutterwave store rather. This was, like Michelle said, our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was a keep lights on initiative where we saw that our merchants who would typically be able to carry out their business transactions were not able to do that because there was a restriction in movement for themselves and for their customers. So the Flutterwave store was at that point, and it's been on since then. So we've been building features on top of it, just it's better and better for our customers. Several benefits to a Flutterwave store. The first thing is, like I said, you don't need a website, you don't need to engage a developer for this. To keep all your invoicing, orders, customer information, and then it lets you have a really smooth shopping experience because there's very or payment to generate a payment for your customers. It doesn't matter if you want to use their cards or bank transfer or use USSD. The link enables them to choose from an array of options. Of store such that you can upload as many products as you want. There's no limit to that. And in terms of variants, you can upload products as well in the case, for instance, if you're uploading a leather bag in small, medium, large, you can indicate that there, and you can put the exact quantities. So you don't have to keep coming back websites to toggle, to dashboard rather, to toggle between when it's in stock. Just putting the quantities at annual, everything. There's an in-built fraud management solution, so you and your customers can sleep knowing that all the information of your debit cards, of your bank details, all of that is 100% safe. That means that your card information is safe in this environment. Like I mentioned before, so your choice when it comes to how to pay this merchant. You also can accept people who are not just in your local environment, but internationally as well. You just need to make some KYC information and that enabled. In terms of the channels which you can use the Flutterwave store, we have web as well as apps to makes it possible to keep business as you are on the go. Lastly, there's an option for you to set down one unique store. So create a code you share with your community and let them know, okay, putting this code, it's 50% off or 60% off. So you can customize that. Everyone can use the Flutterwave, an individual can be a registered, doesn't know missions. You just have to be in the business, sure you'll be, provide you what we need, and you're good to go. So I'll show you how setting up an account works.
Jola, sorry, I think you are breaking a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, is it better?
Yeah, it's better, but continue. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Video my
it's still breaking. It's still breaking.
Let's hope it improves. Is this better?
Just keep talking. Let me hear.
Okay, so here on my screen, I have just a mock of what the customer journey be. Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's just breaking a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
You have a mic connected.
No, it's just my muted mic.
Okay.
Let me hope that the network stability, because this has been happening all morning. Bear with me, guys. So hopefully, if you guys cannot hear me clearly, you have an idea of what I'm trying to speak about on the screen right now. I'm showing you what the customer journey would look like from the point at which you share your store link with your customer, and then they come on to that store of your, pick what they want. They don't contact you to ask if it's available. They simply just proceed to check out, put in their information for delivery, and then select the pay option. At that point, there's a list of options that will be available to them, and then they can choose whether they want to pay by card or by barter university. And after that payment is done, intermediate is shown on the dashboard of the merchant. So this appears real time. The customer can then relax and know that the goods are being processed, because they get an invoice as well. So the merchant, on the other hand, will start to pick and pack the item. So now that they've seen the order, they see that the person wants a black pair of leather boots. They can start to pack that and then get ready for their dispatch partner of choice. Afterwards, they can do a deep dive on their dashboard just to check how many orders they've got in a week, or in a day, all that good stuff. So in terms of FAQs, for the purpose of this call today, I know we have a lot of Nigerian listeners. So the transaction fee for Nigeria is 1.4. That's the processing fee on any payments that you get for local transactions. And then for international transactions, it's 3.6. But you can, if you go on our website, you see a more comprehensive breakdown depending on your region. In terms of when the money is received in the account, you receive the following day. So you receive it real time into your wallet, but then you're settled the next day into your bank account of choice. And so a couple of merchant testimonials, but I worry that the internet will mind it. You can see once you hop on our YouTube page, Shion had mentioned. So this journey, when you set up a store and you increase your sales, we also make certain resources available to you, such as this search on now. Have brilliant minds come and speak to us about how to do things a bit different, that you see even more excellent results in your business. So some Flutter Store makes life super easy. You don't need your us to reach out to you to DM for price, or ask you if something is available, or ask you to send your account details. You simply set up your store, sit back, and then just start to comment. All right, if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Jolade. So now we're going to the Q&A section, and if you have any questions, you can drop that there, and we're about to begin. Okay, we're starting for the first one. Michelle, this is for you. What are examples of USP for e-learning service delivery?
Okay, so off the top of my head, I can't think of one right now to give you their USP, but I would say if you're an e-learning service delivery company, right? And say you focus on the African markets, you focus on, so who are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the creatives, or are you focused on making the making e-learning accessible to users, right? So if you're focused on those who are creating e-learning tools, right? So those who are making books and things for like the African community, or if you're focused on those who are digesting it. That's also the difference between your consumer and your customer. So whoever you decide to focus on, you can say, oh, we are the making e-learning accessible for Africans, or making learning accessible for Africans. So it's in understanding, you would have to do a lot. I keep going back to research. You have to do a lot of research on what your niche is, who your audience is. Not everybody talks about what their USP is. It's your top companies that you see that say, oh, their USP is this, their USP is that. No one usually always mentions what their USP is. So like if you think of a company like maybe say Skillshare. I know Skillshare is an e-learning platform, or Teachable, right? Look at those who you consider your competition. You check if they have defined what their USP is. If they haven't, which some of them haven't, you have to now check what makes them unique, or maybe look through their reviews, look through what people have said about them, right? And then from there, you find a trend. There's a trend you find. Maybe people always talk about this, people always talk about that. Now, when they're getting reviews, what about those reviews do people not like? So I know one of the places I usually check for reviews on companies and stuff is or products is Capterra. So Capterra, they put in their positive reviews, they put in their negative reviews. So you go through what people like about the product, what people don't like about the product, and then you find the gap there, right? And so for X.
Thank you.
I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, I think so. So the next one is, what can you do when you notice your competitor takes up the strategy that makes you unique?
Like I said, reinventing yourself is not like, it should be second skin for you, right? When something goes wrong, your ability to bounce back from that problem is probably what should make you unique. So not being resilient, right, is maybe being resilient is what makes you unique. A company that is just, resilient. I don't really think anybody can take your resilience from you, can they? Think about it. Nobody can take your resilience from you. That's why I say don't necessarily tie it to a, let it be tangible, but let it be movable. If that makes sense. So you're not tying it to what you're doing today, because really and truly, you can sleep one night and wake up tomorrow, and somebody that had more capital than you to start comes in and is just doing blah, 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 blah in the market. And you're like, but I've been here since. Do you get? So don't tie your ability, right, to tie your USP to your ability to keep evolving, to your ability to keep changing. Don't make it small. As I say, it should be broad, but not too broad. Your competition comes up today and you realize one particular thing that made you unique, or what you felt made you unique, is what they are doing now. What are they doing exactly? Is it the products that they're creating? They will always come up with products. But it's your job to make sure that you have, I work for us, we call it like idea sessions, like strategy sessions, where we talk about different things. And tell you, we've talked about things that we're going to do in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, who we want to be in the next 5 years and in the next 10 years. That's probably not our USP now. It will be our USP then, right? Or it will be what's going to make us stand out then, right? However, we've thought ahead. The ability to think ahead is what's going to keep you dynamic. Like you're not going to remain in one spot. You get? So you think of, okay, yeah, I was doing this today, but tomorrow I realized I don't really want to do this. I want to do that instead, right? So, okay, what's maintaining my core as a business, right? Maintaining my aim. So like for us, our goal is decimating neonatal and maternal mortality, ensuring that the numbers go down. Everything we do is around ensuring those numbers go down. Now, because we're focused on ensuring those numbers go down, we've not limited ourselves to one particular thing. It's like multiple things are going to keep happening. But what's our end point? Ensuring those numbers go down. Do you get? So I hope that's answered the question.
Thank you. So someone is asking, please, how is your customer different from your consumer?
Okay, so your customer is who pays for your service, right? Your customer can be your consumer, but there are some businesses whose customer is different from the consumer. So your customer is who pays for your service, and the consumer is who uses the service. So we just talked about Flutterwave Store. Flutterwave Store's customer is other businesses, right, who are creating stores for the users. The consumers are the users, right, because they're the ones who go on there to buy whatever they want to buy and come back. For us, our customers are the companies we partner with, right? So if you're a B2B company, business is your customer, The consumer is your user, right? Now your user, I said again, your user can be your consumer. If you're doing a direct B2C, your user can be your customer, right? If you're doing if maybe you're selling a product that is for kids, your user isn't your customer. Does that make sense? Your user is maybe the kid's parents who is buying something for them, but the consumer is the kid. So you have to put it in such a way where you're targeting both people. So I'm selling to Seun's mom, right? And I want Seun's mom to buy it for her and like it, but I also want Seun to use it and enjoy it. Does that make sense? So what's going to happen is by the time I've gotten the hang of selling to both of them, even when Seun is saying, oh, she wants to switch it to something else, her mom will be like, are you sure? Maybe don't you want to try this instead? Don't you want to keep trying it? Maybe let's try a different flavor. Does that make sense? Because she has realized that she likes it. And so maybe when she tries a different flavor, it's the same company, right? But they just tried a different maybe variant of the product. So in a situation where you're selling to both, as I say, you have to find a balance across board everybody, right? I'm using this product, but my mom is using that product. I'm buying the products for my mom, not for myself. I'm the customer. My mom is the consumer. Does that make sense? If it does. Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. Someone is asking, do you require a team to develop a USP? Is this something you as a project manager alone can do?
Yep, you can do it alone. I like to work in teams, mainly because I like having an influx of ideas, right? No one is an island. You have a team, you do like a brainstorming session. So it's not just your idea alone, it's you and someone else, thinking through stuff and all of that. But you can do it alone. If you're a one-man business trying to figure out your stuff, figure out your onions, you can do it alone. Maybe ask a friend or like have like a group of people that you can talk to, that you can communicate with, right? And then let those people be your go-to people when you need questions answered. But you can do it alone. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So the next one is, when do you stop promoting a product, especially when you have done all the basics in marketing? Also, you know that this is a real product that is needed, but yet still sales do not reflect it.
When do you stop marketing a product? I don't think you ever stop marketing a product. I feel like what changes is your strategy. So you can do active marketing, and then maybe at some point you're doing passive marketing. So active marketing, when you're like putting the product in people's faces, you want them to use the products you get. And then passive marketing is you get to the time where maybe you're just telling stories, you're just going through reviews. You do know that posting reviews about your product or your business is marketing it. Posting reviews, testimonials, all those things is marketing it as well. And you never really stop posting reviews about the business. You never really stop, giving feedback and stuff. That is marketing, because that's what they're going to use to say, okay, yeah, this business is something I should still look into, or no, completely ignore them, they're not important. So posting reviews, posting feedback, all those things, that's actually still marketing, but it's more passive than active marketing. When you get into like active marketing, then you're like running active ads and trying to get people to use your product or your business and things. And also, when you know a product is needed in the market, but the sales don't reflect it, you might want to re-strategize, maybe find a different, maybe do a different variant of the product. When re-strategizing also always includes market research, right? User research more than market research, because you know the product is needed. So you've probably done your market research and you realized, okay, these are the questions that people have asked, and this is what they want, and I've created this thing for them. However, doing user research gives you a deep dive into the user, the person who is using the product, and helps you understand what they need and what they don't need. And from there, you can now say, okay, from what they've said to me, this is where there's a gap in my product. Because you might have a product that's actually meeting the need, or maybe it's something as simple as the branding of the product, or not doing enough marketing, or maybe your customer service, something. It might just be something about your product that hasn't matched up yet. So doing user research to find out what questions people have, gives you a deep dive into your users, because you need to understand your users in particular, and be able to solve the questions that they might have. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you, Michelle. Wow. So the next question is, I think someone is asking, okay, this is a long one. I think we'll just go with this one. Hi, Michelle. I have two questions. From what I heard, I see that the USP heavily relies on figuring out what your user wants and who your target audience is. My question is, how can a business figure this out effectively? I know you mentioned research, but do you have any pointers on how this research could be done, especially for a crowded niche? Books, articles, or any resource would be appreciated. Secondly, for an existing business that doesn't have a clear-cut USP from the beginning, after research and the business understands their USP, how would you suggest the business integrate the findings into their business, especially if the research shows they have been focusing on the wrong audience for their business? More like a change strategy that doesn't make it look like the business doesn't know what they are doing by switching focus.
Okay, that's a long one. I like it. First question was resources to define your USP, right? USP is your unique selling proposition. Resources to define. I don't have, so I read randomly. So I think I will come up with a list of resources that have been helpful to me, and I will share with the Flutterwave team, and they will possibly share it with everyone who's on this webinar. But when you're trying to figure out what your USP is, sorry, let me just go through that question again so that I can give you an answer. Okay. Yes, your USP heavily relies on figuring out what your users want and who your target audience is. But if you think about it, your business heavily relies on figuring out who your target audience is and what they want, right? So it's like doing one level of research and noting down all the questions you want answered. So when you're doing that research to figure out what your users want, who they are, yada, 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 all of that, your questions on your back end, when you're looking at it, should be, what is my USP, right? What is my product? What solution am I coming in to solve? How do I solve it? You have all those questions down. So when you're looking at the research, your research can be through videos or through surveys or through phone calls, cold calls, those kind of things. When you're doing all of that, you're looking at it with a checklist, right? That checklist is now like ticking all the different questions you might, when you have that research out and you have your questions. So what is in terms of this person's feedback now, what's going to make me stand out? This was going to make me stand out. This was going to make me do this, right? Now, when Google should be your best friend, because I will give you resources, but then it would be based off of my knowledge. And of course, I don't know everything, right? But then the more research you do, the more research you're going to even find that would be tailored to you, tailored to your business, tailored to the solution you are trying to solve. When you're changing strategy and you don't want it to look like your business doesn't know what they're doing by switching focus, I always call it evolving. a lot of times when a business tells you that they're evolving, they are changing strategy. Things are not working as they are planned for it to work, right? So they're changing strategy. But guess what? Nobody can fault anybody for evolving or changing strategy. Nobody can force anybody. Do you get? As a business, if you don't evolve or your strategy doesn't happen to change or anything at that point, I'm actually going to ask myself, what's really going on? Because the world is changing. A business that was operating in 2010, let me not even go too far, 2010 and 2021, you can't be using the same strategy. The world has changed. So you're evolving. You're always going to evolve as a business. You're always going to, if you realize, wait, guys, we've been targeting the wrong people, and you need to repurpose your ads. You need to change the ads. Maybe you were targeting the elderly people, or you realize, no, we should be targeting, the people in their mid 30s or mid 20s or mid. It's just get someone. I always advise that people get experts in the field before you go to pay anybody. See if you have any friends around you who can possibly help, right? People who are in your corner, your friends, your family, whatever, that understand that particular field of marketing. Like not necessarily your business, but those who understand marketing, those who understand strategy, those who understand different things, right? And then have conversations with them, explain what you're doing to them, let them help you understand how to be a good change strategy for a business. A good change strategy all heavily depends on their marketing. Because I can be doing something today and I was focused on, this particular market, maybe the middle to upper class market. Now I want to do something that's focused on the lower class market. And I tell you, in doing this for the upper middle class markets, we realized the numbers weren't reducing from them. So we went to the lower class markets, right? Because we noticed the numbers were reducing from these guys. And so we decided to focus on them. That's it. So I've changed. You get I've changed my focus, my direction to these guys. And I told you this is what I'm doing. This is who my focus is, right? It's important for every business to tell its story, to tell where it started from, where it got to a certain point, where it changed. Because your change strategy also is very important to like your investors. If you're a business who has investors, it's important to your investors. They want to know that you're not just stuck in a particular way. That when you realize something wasn't working for you, you switched it up and you made something else work for yourself. It shows that you are resilient. It shows that you don't give up, right? It shows that you're in it for the long haul. No matter what comes your way, you're going to find a way to solve your problem. That's what it shows. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Michelle. So the next one is, in a situation where, hold on, where is it? Okay. This is from Bimi. In a situation whereby competitors are just selling at a very ridiculous price, which ordinary are not sustainable to the business, and one is not ready to compromise quality, what can be done in this scenario?
If you're a business and your competition is selling at a ridiculous price, which isn't sustainable to, I'm confused. Is this not sustainable to their business or to your business?
I think it's their business, probably their business.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your competition is selling at a ridiculous price. Okay, you mean ridiculous cheap or ridiculous expensive?
Well, that wasn't stated there.
Yeah, but I think, okay, so reading this, it kind of sounds like maybe your competition is selling at ridiculous prices, but maybe ridiculously cheap prices, which isn't sustainable to your business, and you're not ready to compromise on quality to match their prices. What can be done in that scenario? I would say change your audience. I would say change your audience. Not change, but refine your audience, right? Because if your competition, there will always be if somebody will say something cheaper than you. This is a power bank, right? I might have bought it, I don't know how much I didn't buy it, but I might have bought it 15K, right? For a 20 mAh, 20,000 mAh. I bought it 15K. someone is selling this same 20,000 mAh for 20K, right? And someone goes and buys it for 20K. That person is that person's target audience. Me, that is looking for the most affordable way to get things done. I'm not in that 20K person's target audience. I'm in the 15K person's target audience. Do you get? It's a thing of knowing how to market. I've seen people, right, who, I'm an entrepreneur as well, and I've seen people who sell things at the crazy, ridiculously expensive prices. And I'm like, that thing is ridiculously expensive. I know how much it would cost me to get it, but guess what? I can't fault them because that's their marketing. So what you do when you're selling something that's, and your price is a bit higher, what I found that works is add some value or some incentive, sprinkle it on top of your cake. They think of, oh, that person is selling just this pen for 50 naira. However, your pen comes with 1 month or 2 months of support in case the person has any problem, or a warranty of 3 months, because you, as you are, you know that is not going to spoil. But a warranty, terms and conditions of star, but a warranty of like 3 months, you can come back to us for anything. We'll give you resources, you put out content there. The content here is supposed to help you learn how to use it. That person that's selling it cheap probably just wants to sell, carry your thing, give me my money and be going. However, tell the person how you're taking them on a journey with them, how you're, helping them understand who they are, and refining life for them, changing life for them. Make a nice package. By the time you do that package, the person is not going to remember that they are buying something more expensive. Like, it's more expensive from you, because it's like, it's more expensive, but they're going to give you support. And so you find that even the person that's telling who is buying, who your customer is, that your product is more expensive, your customer is now defending your expense, like your price, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, it's more expensive, but look at it now, the quality is different. And maybe, they're giving me support. Maybe they're doing this, they're doing that. You realize you create ambassadors. You create ambassadors for yourself. Your prices you will never always have the competitive prices. That's just it. You won't always have the competitive prices. You might be more expensive, you might be cheaper, whatever the case may be. Just know how to tell your story, know how to market yourself properly, and make sure that whatever you're giving is adding value. You're selling a product, add value to it. The value might not cost you anything, but you don't know that it will go, you don't know how far or how long a way it will go for your customer. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Michelle. So now we'll just be taking 2 more questions so that we can round up. And if you have more questions, Michelle will probably share her details in the comment section, so you can reach out to her. So the next one is, someone is asking, she's asking if the following are good USP. It says, we are friends with our customers, we're flexible, transparent, and we offer them personalized attention.
We're friends, we offer them personalized attention, we're friends with our customers. It needs to be refined. It's good. It does sound good. Being friends with your customers is good as well. It needs to be refined. I would say focus heavily on the last point that was mentioned.
Personalized attention.
Personalized attention. Focus more on that, right? Refine it. Refine the sentence, but focus more on the personalized attention that you're giving your customer. I would say that it's a good starting point. Bring it, you still need to reel it down a bit. Maybe find one word that defines everything that you've talked about. Make it a more assertive statement, right? Like a statement that when you enter, it's like, I've said this thing, do you get? And the person's like, okay, yes, that makes sense. So it is good. Make it a more assertive sentence. Refine it a bit, and you're good to go. But that sounds like a good one.
Okay, so the final question is, someone's also asking, kindly give us suggestions of USP for the following businesses if you have an archive or something. online store, website design and development, digital marketing, and video editing.
Video editing, digital marketing, video editing. I don't have anything on top of my head, I can't lie. But I would say if you're a video editor, your unique selling point should be around the quality of the videos that you give, the quality of the videos that you churn out, what your focus is, how the work makes your customers feel. That should be where your USP is focused on. How does the work that you do make your customers feel when they watch? Because you can't really say, oh, we churn out the best of videos, that kind of thing, because everybody aims to give the best of videos, you know. But how does what you do make your customers feel? Does it make them feel good? Does it make them feel like what feeling do you aim to stir up in your customers? That's around where your USP should be if you're doing video editing. If you're doing digital marketing, also, to be honest, how does digital marketing, why you? Everybody's a digital marketer. So the question is now, why you, right? What about you should make me decide I want to use you, right? What are your numbers like? What's your return in terms of results, right? What kind of results are you giving to your customers? Thereabouts, this kind of things. That's what will make you stand out, to be honest. I feel like there isn't a clear-cut way in defining your USP. And I think I saw a question, someone said it took them about a month to decide on what a USP is. It will take you a bit of a while. But when you have it, you know. Because the thing is, like now, I can't just give you off the top of my head the USP because I don't know what your business is about. If you're a digital marketer, but your focus is on like NGOs, or your focus is on like social impact businesses, your focus will be on different things. So your USP would follow suit. Do you get? So what about your business makes you stand out? What do you aim? What do you aim to achieve? What feelings do you aim to incite in people? When they see you, it's like, man, I'm looking at you, but all I'm seeing is just lights. Do you get? Like, what do you want people to feel when they come around you? That's what your USP is going to be. So you can't start today and say, okay, yes, my USP is this. It has to tell a story. Your business is about telling a story. What's going to keep your business running to the end of time is the story that you're telling. So that story, it has to have, as in, it has to hold. You get? It has to hold. So it would take you have to take your time. I always tell people that it has to take time. You find people are rushing into things. They're just like, oh, I just want to get this done. Just get it. It's gonna take you a while. The same way you think through the process of starting a business, it's the same way you're going to think through the process of deciding on your USPs. Your USP will be influxed into that time that it took you to start your business. But guess what? Your USP can change. It's not static. It's not like, okay, we'll decide that these are USP, and then it shouldn't change too much. It shouldn't change too much. So you don't look like you don't have focus in life. You know, you look like you know where you're heading. However, it shouldn't be static. It will change. It will evolve as you grow as well.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for joining us today. Thank you so much, Olade,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking around till the end. You guys are the real MVP. So if you like to reach us regarding any Flutterwave, anything about Flutterwave store, or anything you want to know about setting up your store, you can reach us with hi@flutterwavego.com. Our Instagram and Twitter handles are the Flutterwave. And if you have any support issues, you can reach out to us at FLW Support on Twitter. So Michelle has shared LinkedIn, so you can have for more questions. And this recording will be shared to you during the course of the week. And if you don't get the email, you can always check our YouTube channel by at least Friday, it will be up. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the session. See you next 2 weeks.